Hello everybody, welcome back to the Red Eagle, and today we're going to be doing Trump versus Biden because it's seemingly looking like Biden will be the nominee at this point. If we're at war with Iran, if World War III happens, which I don't necessarily think the chances of it happening are super high. But before we get started, please like this video below and please subscribe to the channel. We are only 800 subscribers away from beating AOC in the sub count, so can we beat AOC? Subscribe so we can get there. But now let's start filling out this map. Biden is going to win California, of course, no matter what, and most of these states on the East Coast if we're at war. Now, Trump is going to do better than he would usually do if we're at war. You might ask why that is, because the media likes war. The media will be a little bit easier on Trump if we're at war, and if Trump wants to continue the war, Biden might run against the war, even if it's just for show, and in turn, Trump is going to get a little bit more establishmentarian support, so he'll probably win by a wider margin than expected. Especially in places in the suburbs. You talk about Romney-Clinton voters, they might flip back to Trump in some of these cases in places like Orange County, California, where Trump might have a chance to do a lot better this time around than what he did last time around. So obviously, I do think that Donald Trump is going to win Iowa and Ohio safe in this case. North Carolina and Georgia will be likely, as well as Florida. Lots of people forget this, but Bush won the state of Florida by a likely margin in 2004. I think Trump would win Florida by a likely margin if we're at war, especially because it's his home state. And also, I think Trump would be a lot more competent at executing a war against Iran than Bush would by putting the troops in the Middle East for 20 years and getting nothing done. I think Trump would get a lot more done if we did go to war. I don't really want to go to war, but it honestly would bolster Trump's chances at winning in 2020 regardless. I do think Biden would win Illinois. I think he'd win New York safe. And I think he would win Rhode Island and Delaware safe in this case. I think Colorado would go to Biden lean. New Mexico would go to Biden tilt. I think the suburbs Trump would do better in. I think Arizona, he would win it by a lean margin instead of a tilt margin. I think he would win it Nevada by a very tilt margin if we're at war against Biden. The state of Alaska, I think Trump would do well there. I think he would win Texas safe. They love the Bushes in Texas. I think the neocons in Texas that might have stayed home would come out for Trump in big numbers in 2020 if we go to war. And war usually bolsters the media. So the Hispanic media down in Texas would be a little bit kinder to Trump if we were at war, just like they were much kinder to Bush after he went to war and Bush was able to win 44% of the Hispanic vote. I don't think Trump would get to 44, but I think he would get in the high 30s. That means he's in the 40s in Texas, so he's going to win Texas by a safe margin. As for Nebraska's 2nd district, that will go to Trump by a likely margin. As for the state of Oregon, I think that would go to Biden by a likely margin as he would fail to energize the far left vote. And I think the state of Washington would still go safe, but I think Trump would definitely crack 40% in Washington. And now we have Virginia. Biden would win Virginia by a lean margin. I saw a poll when you weighted the poll properly, had Trump over Biden in Virginia. And it's possible that could be the case later on if Biden continues to struggle behind Trump in approval. But I don't think that's going to happen right now. Generically, you would expect Virginia, based on election trends, to stay in the Democrat column, although it could be close, especially if we're at war. If we're at war, Trump wins Wisconsin by a likely margin. He wins Michigan by a lean margin. He wins Pennsylvania by a lean margin. He wins Minnesota if we're at war by a tilt margin. And New Hampshire, he'll win by a lean margin if we're at war. Maine, he'll win by a lean margin. Maine 2nd will be safe. So here you have it. If we go to war, Trump will most certainly not have a problem beating whoever he goes up against. I think if he was going up against someone like Sanders or Warren, he would destroy them, but it's looking like Biden will be the nominee, and he'll destroy him too. He'll win the popular vote in this case. He might win it by a little bit, but Donald Trump's approval rating has gone up. His approval rating right now sits at 45.3%. Joe Biden's approval rating sits at 42%, and Trump's approval is higher than Biden's approval. That's great news. His approval was below Hillary's, and he still won. In Wisconsin, his approval was minus 30, and he still won. Right now, nationwide, it's minus 7. So it's looking like Donald Trump is going to win at the moment. I think a lot of people aren't realizing this, and it's starting to be reflected in general election polls, especially state polls. And I think that we understand this and we see this now. I think we see it now clearer than we've ever seen it before. Trump is beating Biden in approval. Trump is beating Biden in approval rating. That is great news for Trump. Biden is struggling and Trump is actually going up, Biden's going down. The media is attacking Trump nonstop, and especially if that eases off, if we do go to war, Trump would have no problem beating Biden. I think he's going to beat Biden anyways. If we weren't at war, I would change the map around. Obviously, I think Biden would probably pull off Nevada. I think he'd win Virginia by a significant margin, maybe narrowly win the state of Minnesota. I think Oregon would be safe. I think Florida would be likely. I mean, Florida would not be likely. It would be lean. I think the state of North Carolina and Georgia would be lean. But if we go to war, anything is really possible because the political climate at war can change nonstop. And I don't think it's imminent right now. I don't think we're going to go to war with Iran. I don't think it's going to be a big thing. But I mean, they got potentially weapons now after that Iran deal. Obama gave them billions of dollars, so they can basically do whatever the hell they want. But I mean, Trump, if we coordinate a good strike, which he did, that was good. But I hope we don't escalate our fight because we have problems on our home turf that need to be solved first. We need to put Americans first. We have people coming across our southern border. I'd rather put all of our troops on our southern border instead of putting the troops on Iran's border because we need to protect Americans first. Now, I don't think the Iran deal was a good deal because you were giving an enemy billions of dollars so that they wouldn't build weapons, trusting them, saying that they wouldn't do it. Obviously, you give them enough money, they very well could do it. So it's possible conflict could be imminent. I just don't think Iran wants it because they know that they will be wiped off the earth in 10 seconds. Same thing with North Korea. North Korea, I think tensions with them have de-escalated. I mean, they're still definitely a threat to us. I do commend Trump for talking with them. Obviously, it's not an overnight process. They're still doing some sort of projectile thing, but everybody knows that they're not really a threat. And all the leftists out there that are just talking about, oh, this is World War III, Trump's going to kill us. Guys, stop. You need to come on and just stop it. Enough is enough. We're not going to have World War III, even if we do go to war with Iran, first of all. And second of all, it doesn't even look like we are going to war with Iran. Trump assured people yesterday that war with Iran is not in his agenda, which is a good thing. I don't really want war with Iran. And you have all the neocons and neolibs cheering the war. And it's a joke. It's a complete and total joke at this point. So I'm definitely in the middle of this when it comes to ideology on foreign policy. I don't want Iran to walk all over us. I don't want to sit down like the Tulsi crowd wants to do and give them billions of dollars to get off our back. But at the same time, I know what they would do with that money, so I don't really support the Iran nuclear deal, for example. But it's definitely one of those things where you have a gray area, and I think Donald Trump has done perfect when it comes to foreign policy. He hasn't launched as many drone strikes. He's put America first. But when somebody attacks us or plans an attack on us, he'll do everything in his power to defend America so that we can destroy our enemies, because that is very important. We need to put Americans first. Democrats and Republicans both alike have not put American interests first abroad and at home. Donald Trump has taken a step in the right direction in terms of doing that, and hopefully the presidents that will succeed him are going to do an even better job at putting Americans first, because that is definitely a priority. Trump won the Rust Belt in the first place, these 4 states here, because he ran on civic nationalist policies when it came to things like trade. And well, at the end of the day, it seems like he's fulfilled his promises on trade. He got us out of TPP, he got us out of NAFTA, and he's put this trade war at China to hold China accountable. That's good things. I really wish he would do more on immigration, more on the border. He should send more troops. He should get more troops out of the Middle East, and he should put them on the southern border, because we have many people that walk across the border that don't have our good in mind, that want to leech off of the federal government. And I don't really think that's a good thing that happens in this country. So I think he would get a lot more support if he did that and withdrew troops overseas and put them on the southern border. The only problem is the media wouldn't cover him that way, and the media is a very influential bloc in this country. So I do think that if we did go to war, Trump would lose some support, no doubt, but at the same time, he would gain support from other voters that he wouldn't have, just because the media would ease off on him a little bit. But that's my take. Tell me what you think in the comments down below. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications so we can beat AOC. And join the Patreon, join the Discord, links in description. Follow me on social media, links also in description. Thanks everybody for watching, guys. Red Eagle out.